Good morning. Today we're going to talk about scatter plots. Scatter plots is chapter 10, lesson 3C. And the objective of our lesson today is to construct and make conjectures about scatter plots. So what is a scatter plot? A scatter plot shows relationship between two variables, and it's graphed in a coordinate plane. So different from the box and whisker plots, which were graphed on the number line, this one here, it is graphed on the coordinate plane. And what are the two variables that are being used in this graph right here? So we have here sale of ice cream. The ice cream is being sold, and the information that we have here, one is temperature and the other is sales. So ice cream sales. So this shows the relationship between the temperature during the day and the amount of ice creams that were sold in a specific day or time of the day. So when the temperature was around 90 degrees, we have no ice creams being sold. But the temperature is increasing, see, 95, 100, 105, 110 degrees, and the amount of ice cream being sold is going up. It started slow, 60 ice creams. By the time it reached 105 degrees, we had almost 120 ice creams sold that day. So the two variables being used in this graph are temperature and sales. Now, correlation. Correlation is a relationship between both variables. So the stronger the relationship between the variables, the closer the points are getting together to making a straight line. So what we're going to see is the three possible ways of dealing with or finding information in a scatter plot. First one, which scatter plot has the stronger relationship? Which one has the weakest relationship? And which one has no relationship, like the information is not related at all? So here are the graphs that we're going to see. There are three graphs being shown over here. Graph 1, 2, and 3. And this gives you an idea of what a scatter plot is. So we observing these three graphs here, we see that this one here, look, the points are closer. We can see that they are having a kind of a pattern. It's going up here. So this graph here, we can say that has the strongest relationship. So the relationship between the information in this graph, it is a strong relationship. It's still not a perfect line because there's no way I can draw a perfect line with these points that are not aligned, but it is a strong relationship. This one here, we can see that the points are still moving up here, but it would be very hard to find one line here to define these points. So we can see that this here would have a weak relationship between its points or among the points. And this one here, look, there are points everywhere. There's nothing that I can say, nothing that tells me if this is going up or down or anything. So this one here, I would say that it has no relationship among the information that is presented. Also, we can say now we are going to see if the relationship with the variables, if it is increasing, if it is decreasing, what kind of relationship we have here. So positive correlation in the information means that both variables are increasing. So here I have shoe size and height. So that tells me what? The higher the person, the bigger the number of the shoe or the size of the shoe that this person is going to wear. So if the shoes are small, the height is small. But as the size increases, the height is also increasing. So we have here a positive correlation. We can draw a line like this that could represent this information here in a positive correlation. Everything is going up. All the information is going up. Both variables are increasing in information. Then we have here a negative correlation. A negative correlation is when one variable increases and the other one is decreasing. What do we see here? We see that the temperature is increasing this way, and the soup sale is, what is happening with the soup sale? See, the higher the day or the higher the temperature, the soup decreases. So when it was colder here, I had more soup being sold. As the temperature, as the day warms up or the temperature increases, the amount of soup sold is decreasing. So we could represent this with a line like this, and this is a negative correlation, which means one of the variables increased in information, in this case the temperature increased, and the other variable decreased, the sale of soup decreased. And finally, we have scatter plots that have what? No correlation, which is, look at this information, the annual income of a person and the shoe size that they wear. No correlation at all. One thing has nothing to do with the other. So it doesn't matter how much money you make, that doesn't tell what size of shoe you wear. So the information is all spread out because it is not, there's no correlation between one information and the other. So all scattered points. The information is just kind of lost or out there in the graph. So let's see one example here. This last snowstorm lasted 5 hours. The amount of snow on the ground was recorded by Mr. Smith or by Mr. Smart. Draw a scatter plot of the data. Make sure to label the coordinate plane accordingly. Describe the relationship between both variables. So here, I can call this the time. So this is time in hours. So 1 hour, 2 hours, 3, 4, and 5 hours being recorded here. See, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So he recorded after 1 hour, there were 4 centimeters of snow on the ground. After 2 hours, there were 10. After 3 hours, 13. After 4 hours, 19 centimeters. And after 5 hours, 26 centimeters of snow on the ground. So that is time. And this is what I am going to call the total accumulation of snow. And this is measured in centimeters. It's very important to name what you are graphing. So this is time, and this is the amount of snow on the ground. So for 1 hour, I have 4 centimeters. So I have to first put my numbers over here. So I can start with 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So now I have all the numbers over here. I used all the numbers over here so I can graph everything. One thing that is very important, the interval here needs to be always the same. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So I need to use always the same distance. So here I should make a mark, representing that this graph is broken over here, because if this is 0, from here to here, it's 5, here 10, 15, oh, it is the same. So yeah, I don't need to do that for this graph here. So let's see. After 1 hour, I have 4 centimeters. So 1 hour, this is a point right here, 4 centimeters of snow. After 2 hours, 10 centimeters of snow right here. After 3 hours, 13. So this would be 12, let's say over here. After 4 hours, I have 19, which is 4 hours right here, 19 right about here. And then after 5 hours, 26. So here's 25, 5 and 25, 26 right here. See, I didn't get a straight lines, but these points here are pretty close to forming a line. I know I don't have my ruler here, but when we do that, we use a ruler. So these are pretty close to forming a straight line, which means that these points here, they do follow a pattern, and this pattern can be seen looking at the graph. So 5 hours, 25 or 26 centimeters of snow. And our last example of today. Our last example of today is about peaches. So here we are. The number sold comparing with the price of the peach. So see, this is not a big amount of peaches that were being sold, because look, the price was very high. So there was one, or I don't know how many these represent, but there was a small amount of peaches being sold here, low amount, because the price was too high. The number of sales increase. See, there are more sales over here as the price goes down. So this one here is increasing. This one here is what? Decreasing. So this is a negative correlation, and we can deduct from here that we sell more peaches when the price is lower. So this was a simple chapter that gives us a lot of information on how to make an analysis of data. So for you, homework now. Page 616, numbers 2 through 6, all of them. And remember, numbers 3 and 5, you have the answer in the back of the book. So do all the problems. And start studying for the chapter test. So this was lesson 3 already. We are already in lesson 3C. So study all 4 that you had for the quiz last week, plus this one and the next one, and then we'll have a test. I'll see you tomorrow.